Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's second video. This is going to take us to around the start of May. So we're going to be opening days of the new month with the week to 10 day video updates now. Just say that coming up this evening, we're going to have your second look at the May Day bank holiday weekend. So we're only just past Easter and we're already going off into our next lot of updates for the next bank holiday weekend, which of course is the May Day bank holiday weekend. So, second update for that coming up this evening. We released the ECMWF 30-day look ahead earlier on this afternoon. So that's looking at weather for next month with the ECM ensembles for the UK and for Europe as well. Looks like it's going to be a rather mixed month to come. But have a look at that and see what's going on. Right, so we're going to start off with Central England temperature then. So we're currently standing provisional up to yesterday, 22nd of April. We're currently standing at 9.0, an anomaly now of 1.5 degrees above average. So this really has taken off over the past few days. Hardly a surprise because it has been a really warm Easter weekend, a truly classic vintage Easter weekend. I think we'll remember it for a very long time to come for its really warm, dry and sunny weather, and so this central temperature has really lifted up over the past few days. That's probably about as high as it's going to get. It may go up another sort of couple of tenths of a degree for today. But I think once that's out of the way, it will stabilise. It may even drop a little bit, actually, as we go through towards month's end. So I think we might come out in the end underneath 9 degrees. Certainly shouldn't be as big an anomaly for this April as we had in February, when we was over it was at 3 degrees above average, March, when we're just over 2 degrees above average. So I would expect that to drop a little bit as we go up towards the end of the month. These are the 500 millbar height anomaly flowcharts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, which we'll have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to above average heights, which is high pressure. Blue to below average heights, which is low pressure. So you have very strong blocking signal from the ECMWF model for the week to 10 day time frame. Big area of high pressure up over Greenland and extending back into the North Pole. Where was that in the winter? That's the kind of thing people were waiting for. If they wanted cold weather in the winter, that would have really brought down bitterly cold air from the north. But of course, it's now into the end of April and beginning of May. So it is going to get cooler, but obviously it's not going to be desperately cold because it's too late in the year, or I suppose if we were talking about becoming autumn and winter, we're too early in the year. But either way, it's not going to be desperately cold, but it will be cooler than we've had. Certainly will be a bit of a change compared to what we have through the Easter period. Jet stream is going to be down here as well, so we're on a southerly, we've got a southerly tracking jet stream. We're on the cool side of the jet stream. We've got high pressure sitting to our north, low pressure to the south. That brings our most unsettled conditions probably into southern parts of the country, and it looks quite cool as well. The winds will be coming in from a north or northeasterly direction. GFS is very similar, so again we've got this area below average heights to the south and east of the country. Then we've got a blocking signal up to our north, high pressure sitting to the north of Scotland, extending back to Greenland and to the North Pole as well. Low pressure is to the south of Greenland, and the flow is doing something a bit like that. So we're on the cool side of the jet stream again. That's being pushed off down to our south, though some of the energy probably goes off up there as well. But the upshot is southern areas probably get the most unsettled conditions. Northern areas probably get the driest conditions. All places looking unsettled, with all places looking quite unsettled and quite cool as well, with wind coming from a north to northeasterly direction. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensemble, so the next couple of weeks. So the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. So we're starting warm still. It's very warm out there today, but pretty much from now through the rest of the week, temperatures are on a downhill trend. So by the middle of the week, we're just there. We're around average. And then beyond that, it doesn't look like we're going to be deviating too far from average as we go into the early part of May, quite close to long-term averages. Although at the very end, towards the final end of the first week of May, just the start of the second week of May, there are a few very warm Ensemble members appearing, but they're kind of like outliers, and there are equally quite a few cool members down here. I think overall it doesn't look as though temperatures should be deviating too far from average once we get this warm air out of the way that we've got at the moment. Precipitation-wise, and this is for London, by the way, not sure I've mentioned that. Precipitation-wise, starting quite dry next day or so, but from midweek onwards, it turns much more unsettled. Plenty of precipitation spikes, so it can be regular showers, if not longer spells of rain. There may even be some thunder across parts of the country tomorrow. I don't think we'll have time to get storm watching today. Possibly we might do storm watch tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see whether we can fit it in or not. But it certainly is going to be turning more unsettled over the next few days. And it looks like these unsettled conditions generally last into the first week of May as well. Temperature anomalies from the 23rd of April to the 1st of May. A little bit cooler than average now, particularly for England and Wales, which are France, Spain, Portugal also coming out cooler than average in the week ahead. Much more unsettled too. This is a precipitation anomaly from the 23rd of April to the 1st of May, and it's generally a bit above average, especially so for England and Wales. Quite a wet week actually coming up. So yeah, big changes on what we've had over the past few weeks. This is how the GFS 6 o'clock operational run is looking for Friday. So low pressure very close to us. That's going to bring showers or longer spells of rain from off the Atlantic. If that comes off, another trough comes through on Saturday. That also bringing an enhanced sort of bout of rain. Trying to build some high pressure up to our south on Sunday. That could give us a drier and warmer day for the London Marathon. I know people are interested in the London Marathon. I am asked about it. We have done one update for the London Marathon last week. I think it's a week today. Unfortunately, we just haven't had time to get any more updates done for that one. I will try and squeeze something in, though, before the end of the week. But Sunday might be a slightly drier day and about a little transient bump of high pressure just there. However, by Monday, that's out of the way, and another low pressure is coming through, bringing more showery bursts of rain. And then going into more extended range, where we start getting this high pressure building to our north, so definite signs of northern blocking. We saw it on the height anomaly flow chart. That forces, from Penn State University, that forces the low pressure southwards. So still unsettled, a trough centred over top of the country, but also starting to pull in some cooler winds from the north and from the northeast too. Getting up towards day 10, which is moving us towards the May Day bank holiday weekend, it still looks blocked to our north, extensive northern blocking sitting up to our north. Underneath it, as you tend to get when you have northern blocking through the summer months, not quite in the summer months yet, but May is probably close enough to say this kind of pattern that you get in the summer months. So when you've got a blocking area of high pressure up there in the summer, what will tend to happen is that low pressure gets forced southwards. But unlike in the winter, where everything can be quite slack, in the summer, because there's more energy available within the atmosphere, although it's a cool air mass, it's still, the atmosphere is still to be relatively warm, of course, especially when the sun comes out, will rapidly warm things up. So that tends to generate low pressure. So in the summer, if you've got a normal blocking system, you'll tend to get low pressure as a trough within the 500 millibar flow sitting underneath it. And that's the kind of thing that's going on there. So that looks pretty cool and unsettled. Into more extended range, though, we start to raise the heights a bit to our south, so an extension from the Azores highs, building in towards France, Spain and Portugal, starting to pull up some milder or even warmer southwesterly winds, but not lasting very long really. This does look like quite an unsettled, changeable first half to May. So as we get to the very end of the GFS run, which is Thursday the 9th of May, another trough is moving in from the northwest, bringing further showers or longer spells of rain. The parallel GFS run, 6 o'clock GFS run looks like this. Parallel run is going to become the main operational run in June now, I believe. So just a couple of months of this to go, running the operational and parallel GFS alongside one another. And then we should be able to definitively shift over to what will just be the operational GFS run, but it will be based on the parallel, if you see what I mean. The parallel will become the operational GFS. It'll make sense at the time, don't worry. So this is how things look on Friday, with low pressure again heading in off the Atlantic. Looks quite cool, quite unsettled. That looks pretty windy on Saturday. Could be some sort of gale force winds coming through there. That little area of low pressure, quite unusual. Have gales at the end of April. Into Sunday, and not as much of a ridge to our south, so that could threaten some rain even for the London Marathon on Sunday. Then we go through to gone from Sunday through to Tuesday there. So the low pressure obviously has shifted across the country, taken rain with it, and the wind's turning into the north, and that's bringing colder air down from the north, and still quite unsettled, still quite showery. Notice again there's quite a bit of high pressure up there towards Greenland and Iceland. That's forcing the low pressure southwards and eastwards, and forcing cooler air, or even colder air, southwards with it. Heading up towards day 10, which is going to be Friday the 3rd of May. So it all looks rather unsettled, rather changeable up to this point. Again, just trying to raise the heights a little bit to our south, but really still low pressure is heading off the Atlantic, threatening quite an unsettled start to the May Day bank holiday weekend. Going into more extended range with the parallel GFS run, it does eventually start to build some high pressure. So it eventually starts to turn things drier and warmer as we go through the first week of May on this particular GFS run, which we saw from the Ensemble. So that is an option. There are a few Ensemble members, but do become quite warm there through the first week of May. So I wouldn't necessarily say this cool, unsettled start to May is going to last all that long. We'll have to wait and see, but there is the option of the possibility of building up some high pressure through the first week of May. And then ECMWF looking cool, unsettled, showery on Friday, wet and windy on Saturday. Maybe a slight improvement for Sunday, building up a little bit of a ridge of high pressure. And then through next week, we increasingly raise the heights to our north. So again, very strong northern blocking signals around Greenland and Iceland with a lot of high pressure up there. Low pressure is being forced southwards. Cooler air, or even colder air, is being pushed southwards from the north and from the northeast as well. So quite cool and unsettled next week. Up to day 10, just beginning to perhaps seem to starting to get a ridge from the Azores high by the time we get through to Friday the 3rd of May. Although there is quite a lot of low pressure out in the Atlantic, so it's all poised on a knife edge out really. You might strengthen the heights through the UK, but equally with this low pressure out to the west, you might just flatten any high pressure attempt off and just bring the next low in from off the Atlantic Ocean. So that's one of those sort of charts at day 10 that could go either way. These are the options within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which is the 3rd of May. So it's 240 hours away. This is from the Icelandic Met Office, of course. We've got 20 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the north and west of the country, and they're bringing through a westerly flow like that, so they're quite unsettled. Then we've got 16, which does include the operational run. The run that was just looking at has low pressure out in the Atlantic, quite a deep area, low pressure in the Atlantic, and also a trough to our south. But there is some high pressure. It's mainly to the north, mainly a blocking sort of signal. So again, as I was explaining, you could strengthen this area of high pressure around the UK, potentially just beyond that. But equally, with such a deep area of low pressure in the Atlantic, as we have there, we could just roll that next low pressure in and keep unsettled weather going. And there's 15 that's doing exactly that. So these ones just here, which includes the ECM control run. They've got high pressure towards Greenland with low pressure through the UK, through the Atlantic, through the UK, and in Scandinavia as well. They're cool and unsettled at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. So this is for the 8th of May, 360 hours away. 16 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north, high pressure to the south. So they're bringing in a flat westerly flow. The southern parts of the country, a lot of dry weather on offer, but for the north, does look quite unsettled. Then we've got 16 with high pressure out to the north and west of the country, low pressure to the east and southeast, and bringing in a wind more from a north-northeasterly type direction. That's a drier option. We've blocked off the Atlantic, but certainly not a heat wave, actually probably quite cool. Then there's 14 with low pressure just very close to the country, so those ones are keeping unsettled weather going really through to the end of the first week of May. And then there's 5 with a trough through Scandinavia, high pressure out to the northwest around Greenland, and they bring down northerly winds. Probably showering, and probably even cold enough wintry showers up in the north. But the main thing with those ones, they're the coldest options. Only 5 of them, but they're bringing a really chilly sort of first week to May. I have to say, overall, the trends don't look great for the first week of May. It looks as though, at the very least, we're looking at pretty cool and pretty unsettled conditions. Let's have a look at CFSV2 finally. These are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week's period will take us from the 23rd to the 29th of April. The coming week looks quite unsettled, with below average heights from the Atlantic through the UK to western parts of Europe, above average heights up to our northeast. Flow and the jet align something like that. So looking pretty cool, pretty unsettled, I would have thought, in the week ahead. Week 2 is the 30th of April to the 6th of May. A very strong blocking signal up to the north. Lots of high pressure around Greenland and even back into the top of the North Pole. But then we've got this little ridge just to our southwest with low pressure through central and southern parts of Europe. So low pressure just there as well, of course. So with that one, we're going to be doing something a bit like that. Not as cool as it could be because we're not tapping into true Arctic air with that situation, but it is relatively cool. The high pressure is out to our west, so bring the winds in from a northwesterly direction. Probably not overly unsettled. The Atlantic, we're not bringing low pressure in off the Atlantic. Week 3 looks a bit better. This is the 7th to the 13th of May. Better if you want it warmer, that is, with high pressure building quite strongly and nicely to our south, low pressures out to the northwest. That would be bringing up a southwesterly wind. So turning mainly dry, especially for the south, and warmer too. And then we get through to week 4, which is the 14th to the 20th of May. And with this one, we have above average heights to our east and northeast. So that starts bringing much warmer, maybe even quite hot southerly to southeasterly winds. Really all change with that one in week 4. That's taking us through the middle of May. Temperature anomalies in the week ahead from the 23rd to 29th of May. Overall, close to average. Still a little bit warmer than average in the north. Close to average elsewhere. Week 2, which is the 30th of April to the 6th of May. Going a little bit colder than average, actually, in week 2. Week 3 then goes warmer. That's as high pressure builds from the Azores in towards Spain and France, dragging up southwesterly winds. And by the time we get through to week 4, we've got that high pressure sitting over just to the east of the country, so that's turning much warmer then. Burst of summer from the 14th to the 20th of May. Precipitation anomalies from the 23rd, 29th of April. Average to overall a little bit above average with precipitation in the week ahead. Week 2, close to average, 30th of April to the 6th of May. Week 3 is also coming out close to average. I would have thought a dry week likely, especially so in the south. Then week 4 also close to average. Signal is really going to be really weak by this point, but with high pressure sitting over and just to our east, I would have thought a pretty dry week would be like there. So the trends look like they're for an unsettled and quite cool end to April, beginning of May, and then starting to turn drier and warmer the further into May that we go. Finally, just to say, but if you're enjoying me content at Gazworthies at the moment, it has been a really busy weekend of updates. So I hope you enjoyed all of the updates over the weekend. I hope you got a chance to watch them. Well, they're all at Gazworthies on the website. They're all on the YouTube channel. So if you haven't been able to keep up with all of the updates, there was a lot of them over Easter, then you can watch on demand anytime you like. We did Solar Sunday, for example, on Easter Sunday. Historic video yesterday, that seems to have gone down quite well, looking at winter the 2017-18, including the Beast from the East. We also talked about those bizarre Martian skies that we had in October 2017, courtesy of ex-tropical storm Ophelia, or even ex-hurricane Ophelia, I suppose. So you can catch up with any of those updates whenever you want on demand, either at gazworthies.com or on the YouTube channel. They're all there for everyone to enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the updates over Easter. If you are enjoying the content at the moment, can you please consider becoming a patron for Gazworthies? We've got 62 patrons so far, so hello and thank you to all of our patrons. If you'd like to become a patron for Gazworthies and give us an ongoing monthly donation from anything from $1 a month upwards, you can just come to Gazworthies Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, and then, as I say, by doing that, you become a patron. And a big thank you to all of our patrons. We're on 62 patrons so far. And also, we've got PayPal as well. So if you'd like to give a one-off donation to Gazworthies, then you can just come to the Gazworthies PayPal page, sign into your PayPal account, and then you can send a one-off donation through to Gazworthies. Whether you do it through Patreon or through PayPal, you will get a mention in the videos. We'll give you a shout out and say thank you very much. If you want one, if you'd rather stay anonymous, that's fine. Some people have chosen to do that. But otherwise, we'll say thank you so much for your kindness and support. And you'll get a mention in the vid. So a big thank you to all of our patrons. Big thank you to all of our donors. We're primarily ads funded and will be remaining so. But year by year, ad revenues are dropping. The money that we get from running advertisements does drop year by year. There are various reasons for that I won't go into. But it's just another revenue stream, if you like, and it gives us another avenue, given that the advertisements are generally in decline at this point. Alright, so that's brought you up to date with weather for the next week to 10 days. And the next thing we've got to bring you up to date with is the May Day Bank Holiday weekend. So that's going to be the third video up this evening. Tomorrow we're going to have a 5-day forecast. We'll have another week to 10-day video update tomorrow. If I can get it in, I will try and do, I might try and do a storm watch actually. Depends how widespread those downpours are going to be tomorrow. So, yeah, more updates on the way. Keep checking back for more. Second update, May Day Bank Holiday weekend tonight. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.